Well, let's say you had the job. Someone does, right? The job of briefing Donald Trump on his legal problems every day. What would you say today? Where would you begin? He is already, remember, every day, he's already defending Trump in several civil cases, from E. Jean Carroll's lawsuit claiming Donald Trump raped her in the 1990s to some Capitol Police officers' lawsuits against Donald Trump for causing their injuries and other injuries in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. And those lawsuits, especially the Capitol Police lawsuits, are still on track today to totally bankrupt Donald Trump eventually, hitting him with verdicts of hundreds of millions of dollars in damages that he will have to pay, but they are moving at that standard slow pace of civil litigation, so that will take years. I think if you were briefing Donald Trump on his legal troubles today, you might, and I'm only saying might, lead with the Justice Department's filing in a Florida federal court asking to block the release of the affidavit that convinced a federal judge to issue a search warrant of Donald Trump's Florida home, which was executed by the FBI exactly one extremely long week ago. Or you might lead with this breaking news from the New York Times late in the day today. Alan H. Weisselberg, a senior executive at Donald J. Trump's family business, who was charged with participating in a years-long tax scheme, is nearing a deal with Manhattan prosecutors, but will not cooperate with a broader investigation into Mr. Trump, according to three people with knowledge of the matter. On Monday, Mr. Weisselberg's lawyers and prosecutors met with the judge overseeing the case. The judge scheduled a hearing for Thursday, a possible indication that a deal has been reached and a plea could be entered then. Mr. Weisselberg was expected to receive a 5-month jail sentence with time credited for good behavior. He is likely to serve about 100 days. If you were briefing Donald Trump on his legal troubles today, it's really a tough choice, because you might want to lead with the federal grand jury in Washington, D.C., issuing a subpoena to former White House lawyer Eric Hirschman. And if you weren't quite sure how important that is, it would quickly rise in importance once you read that our first guest tonight, former federal prosecutor Andrew Weissmann, said today that he believes that this subpoena to Eric Hirschman means that Donald Trump himself is a target of the grand jury investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol and the attempt to overthrow the election. Here is what Eric Hirschman told the January 6th committee about Trump attorney John Eastman, whose phone was seized by the FBI.
John, now I'm going to give you the best free legal advice you're ever getting in your life. Get a great effing criminal defense lawyer. You're going to need it. And then I hung up on him.
The New York Times and other news organizations have requested that the Florida judge who issued the search warrant for Donald Trump's home release the FBI affidavit that laid out the criminal case or cases that are being investigated with that search warrant. In a brief to the judge today, the Justice Department said disclosure at this juncture of the affidavit supporting probable cause would, by contrast, cause significant and irreparable damage to this ongoing criminal investigation. As the court is aware from its review of the affidavit, it contains, among other critically important and detailed investigative facts, highly sensitive information about witnesses, including witnesses interviewed by the government, specific investigative techniques, and information required by law to be kept under seal pursuant to Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E. If disclosed, the affidavit would serve as a roadmap to the government's ongoing investigation, providing specific details about its direction and likely course in a manner that is highly likely to compromise future investigative steps. In addition, information about witnesses is particularly sensitive, given the high-profile nature of this matter and the risk that the revelation of witness identities would impact their willingness to cooperate with the investigation. Disclosure of the government's affidavit at this stage would also likely chill future cooperation by witnesses whose assistance may be sought as this investigation progresses, as well as in other high-profile investigations. The fact that this investigation implicates highly classified materials further underscores the need to protect the integrity of the investigation and exacerbates the potential for harm if information is disclosed to the public prematurely or improperly. That is a heavily loaded filing, loaded with references to witness identities. That alone is going to leave Donald Trump wondering all night who they are. And the phrase it is full of extra bad news for Donald Trump. And that bad news is the reference to other high-profile investigations. Other high-profile investigations? That's the Department of Justice saying that the evidence and witness identities, especially in the Trump search warrant affidavit, could compromise not only the investigation that the search warrant is about, but, quote, other high-profile investigations. The other high-profile federal investigation that we know about is the criminal investigation of the January 6th attack on the Capitol and the extended attempt generally to illegally overturn the election.